Katie, great to see you again. Welcome back to
Good
Popternative.
to see you, Pete. Thank you for having me.
You know, it's interesting now because it's officially like 3 seasons of you playing a character, and I feel like season one's interesting for everyone because you've never played this character before. We've never seen this character before. You return for Abby for season two. You're learning a little bit more. Maybe you're still learning. What's it like for season three? Do you kind of understand this character? Are you comfortable with this character?
I mean, yeah, truthfully, I still feel like I'm learning about Abby all the time because she's growing. She's a teenager, and I'm kind of growing along with her. But uh, right when I think I know her, she'll go and she'll do something that's like totally not what I would expect. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. No, it's
sure the
interesting.
audience agrees too.
I feel like, every season of Ginny and Georgia just basically ends with a cliffhanger and questions. I mean, spoiler alert, big questions before we
Oh
get to
yeah,
the
very
new
much.
season.
Yeah.
What's that like reading the scripts, like especially for like getting them for the first time for season three, knowing what the writing's like usually, right? With like cliffhangers and everything. Like what's it like getting those season three scripts?
Oh, it's well, the show is like a master class in engaging with their audiences and like really utilizing their characters to turn uh to bring the audience together and to turn the audience against each other, and to really like spark discussion. And that was not different at all this year. It was actually it was reading the scripts for the first time, it felt like the show, but it was heavier than it usually was.
Yeah.
So I was just really pumped to try to like bring that and translate that this time
Mhm.
around.
Absolutely. Season two, there was a lot with Abby and the eating disorder. We see a little bit of that in season three, but there's also some other things happening in season three with, Abby as well. There's experimenting with relationships specifically. What's that like preparation wise for like things that you didn't do in previous seasons with this character growth wise?
It's really honestly fun because it's like we haven't seen Abby really have a romantic love interest before, in the sense that she's really liking them, and she's like
Yes.
learning uh how she loves romantically and who she loves romantically. And it's actually very complicated for her. Like it's not like the obvious choice for her. It's something that she's like grappling with, and even by the end of the season she's still grappling with it. So it's very meaty, and um it's just interesting more than anything.
Absolutely. I always find it interesting with a show like this because you have the adults, you have the kids. You have the adults, you have the kids. Some of the, kids kind of have scenes with the adults, a lot don't. Your character doesn't really have a lot with the adults, but what is that like kind of being on a show where it feels sometimes like two different shows? Because that's what I feel like sometimes with the scenes, and I'm wondering if you think about that from a working on it perspective.
It's so funny. I don't think I've ever thought of it like that. I'm usually, when I'm doing Abby, I'm like Abby, and I'm looking at the
Yeah, yeah.
actor across from me, just kind of in the moment. I wish I got to see those guys more though, because they're
Yeah, because
definitely
it's like a lot of the school, and we see some scenes with with Abby and Maxine and and Jenny and everything, and we'll see like a 2-3 minute kind of scene view time, right, like minute mark, and then we go to a next scene. But I know, I guess, because I'm a filmmaker as well, that scene might have taken you guys the whole day to
yeah,
film.
that
You
was
know
my
what I
whole
mean?
day that day.
So when those scenes happen, do they feel like their own mini movie, mini project, those long scenes to film, or do they feel overall part of Ginny and Georgia?
Yeah, they do. They feel like that's, my castmates and I put so much into those little scenes. So it's like, yeah, if you're watching something and it just feels like a heavy moment, but it was like 2 seconds, it was like, no, we were being heavy all day. So
No, absolutely. Um, I kind of also want to know, given that, I know like the answer to this is probably going to be no, because you just said like when you're on, you're focusing on Abby. So this might be a waste, but I'm going to ask it anyway. But I'll explain the context around it. But like,
okay.
you know, I, yeah, this might be definitely a waste because I feel
Oh
like you
no, I'm
answered it
excited now. What do
already.
you mean?
No, no. Well, are you? The audience is so like into it, right? Like when they watch the show, right? So it's like they're like dialed in. They want to know everything: the cliffhangers, the theories, the relationships, right? Like, are you ever conscious of the audience member watching Ginny and Georgia, like while it's being made, like while you're in production, or is that something that happens a little bit afterwards?
You know what? Truthfully, not that much. I leave. We depend so much on the writers and the producers and and the creators to kind of focus on that. And like I said, when I'm acting, I'm usually thinking about my scene partner
Yeah.
or my character. But there are times when I do notice that I am thinking about the audience, and it's
Mhm.
usually while I'm like tackling scenes that I know might be a little bit sensitive and personal for some people, particularly while Abby's tackling her eating disorder scenes. I'm
Yes.
just very aware that there are little girls or guys or people at home who relate to that a lot, and it's very important. How we talk about it matters, and
Mhm.
I can always kind of feel them a little bit through the camera when it's like, well, I know this is important.
We're gonna shift gears. We're not gonna clown around a little bit, but like we are gonna clown around. We're gonna talk about Clown in the Cornfield, which I
Shocker!
I had such a good time with it. But Katie, I'm a big
Oh,
horror movie fan. Like you know
oh,
this, right?
good, good.
So
I'm glad
like
it's fun.
I just had a great time. I loved all the characters. You were amazing in it. I mean, tell me a little bit about just working on something like this. And it's cool, right? Because you're working on something that was a book, and you're kind of bringing that kind of horror, like that life, that world to life. Like, what was that like with you with Clown in the
Oh
Cornfield?
my God, I was so excited. As soon as that I saw that script come along, I just read the name and immediately was like so all about it. It's something I checked off my bucket list. I've always just wanted to do like a cheesy, campy horror,
Hmm.
and especially something that was already had a big following due to the book.
Yeah,
Um, and we just had so much fun with it, and that's exactly what that movie was supposed to be. Signing onto a project like that just kind of lets you surrender yourself over to the camp of it, and just kind of be there to represent what your character is like there to represent. And
absolutely. What a
um,
squad, too. What a cast.
oh,
Like,
real! I cannot stress this enough. The
Io,
loveliest
Verity, Cassandra, Carson,
mellows.
Aaron, Kevin, like everyone, like such a good
It's
cast.
ridiculous. Like
I know.
just the loveliest people I've ever worked with.
It's kind of funny. I actually like had moments in that where I like laughed really, really hard too. Like the
Oh,
part like
good.
the jail cell, like the older gentleman, like don't fuck with Friendo. I think I laughed out loud really hard at that.
Well,
So
good, good. We were
no,
definitely giggling behind camera
it was
too.
really cool too. There's a really good. I don't know if you. I'm a big music person too. Like I love a
Mm.
lot of music, a lot of different bands, a lot of metal actually. One of the songs that's in Ginny and Georgia, it was brought up in an interview, and I talked to Sarah Lampert about this. Ray and I are good friends. I show Ray heavy metal music all the time because that's the genre we like. And that song, in like season 3, episode 6, that song that Wolf's singing, like that song in the van, I showed Ray that song, and that
No
got
way.
put in Ginny and Georgia. Yeah, it's a band
You're
called Brand.
infiltrating our world now.
That's a band called Brand of Sacrifice, and that song's called Lifeblood. Yeah, I had no
We
idea.
should
It
put
was
you in the
crazy when you told me.
credits,
Yeah,
dude.
I know it's so
I didn't know
crazy.
that about you. I didn't know you were a metalhead.
I love metal so much. I used to
Hell
be
yeah.
so PD Beats was my stage name when I used to play in like punk and metal bands back in the day.
Wow, it almost sounds more like a hip
Like a
hop
DJ.
name.
Yeah, it's not. It's
Yeah.
definitely because I was the drummer PD Beats and it was a thing, and like I was playing in bands. I just kept it for sure. But
Hell yeah, it's a good name.
yeah, but like Dirty Honey Won't Take Me Alive is like the end credit song of Clown in the Cornfield, like at the end, and it's so good, and I listen to it all the time. Just saying.
Oh, sick. Yeah,
But it's like an
there's
end
a couple
credit song, so
songs in there
sometimes people
that.
don't realize it. But it's like I pay attention to the end credit songs. Like
Thank you.
that's just a me thing. You know what I mean? I
Thank you.
guess.
Yeah, it's so funny because the Eli Craig, who was the director, and I were kind of constantly sending each other music back and forth, to try to establish some type of tone. And then we had like a couple discussions about like, what if I sang the closing song?
Yeah.
It didn't happen, and kind of honestly, thank God.
Is
I
it like a
prefer life to do
combination
it.
of being like exciting and overwhelming working in horror, like horror movies right now at a time where it's like these are the biggest movies that like happen right now, right? Like what is that like for you specifically? Do you think about it a lot? Is it more exciting? Like I'm just curious about that.
There's such a fine line because there's so many different types of horror,
Yeah.
and I do think about it a lot, especially when it's like, what movie am I making? What am I? How straight do I play this? Or like how funny does this need to be? But it's awesome because horror fans are just like the best,
Mhm.
and uh, making movies for the horror community is just like a dream come true.
Yeah.
Being a big fan too also really helps me with that. I think I answered your question. I
You
have,
did,
yes, I have a
100%
lot
you
of.
did. And I hope to see Katie Douglas in more horror movies.
Hey, me too. That would be cool.
How separate though are these roles and journeys compared to like new projects? Like, do you bring things from projects, even though like it's all storytelling, right? But it's like different genres, like Ginny and Georgia, Clown in the Cornfield. But like, do you bring that stuff to future projects, or are they completely separate once you wrap them?
I guess it depends. I'm constantly growing as an actor. Like I learn things from project to project
Yep.
that I can that can lend themselves on the next thing that I work on. But for the most part, they're all so specific and
Yeah.
so different. Like clean slate.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and season 3 of Ginny and Georgia is, streaming now worldwide on Netflix, and we know we're getting season 4, which is exciting.
It's
And
really-
I mean, I'm gonna ask you this question, and you're just gonna say no comment. Like, do you have theories of who the father is?
Of course, I have theories.
Like,
I don't know the answer though.
I don't think
I'm
anyone
on
knows
the
the
edge of my
answer.
seat.
I don't even think I talked to Sarah Lampert about it. She's like, I might or might not know. I'm like, you know who the father is.
Maybe she doesn't either. That would be so fun.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I definitely have theories.
No, it's interesting to think about. I did think about some things. I mean, I will say it. You don't have to say anything, but like I do have a feeling that it could be Joe. And I would just leave it at that. You know what I mean? That's my theory. You know what I mean?
You know what? What I will say is every time I think I know like where they're going with something, I'm like they check me.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like two things happen. Whenever someone asks you about what to expect for a new season of something, that's why I don't ask you that, because it's like, one, I know you have no idea until you get the scripts. So it's like a waste. Or like sometimes like you might know something, but it might change. You know what I mean? So like there's no point.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, I've got ideas and I know my characters are the best that I can.
Absolutely. And
but
you do such an
you-
amazing job with Abby, though. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Katie, so good chatting with you again. Thank you so much for your
Good
time.
to catch up with you. Good to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been Pop Turn at youtube.com/PopTurn for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Katie Douglas and Peter Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.